There was once a small town nestled deep in the woods. The town was surrounded by trees and mountains, and the only way in or out was a narrow, winding road. The townsfolk were a tight-knit community, and they lived their lives in relative peace and harmony. However, one day, a stranger came to town. He was a tall, thin man with long, spindly fingers and a gaunt face. He wore a long black coat that trailed behind him, and his eyes were dark and sunken. The townsfolk were immediately wary of him, and they whispered amongst themselves about his strange appearance. But the stranger seemed harmless enough, and he soon became a regular fixture in town. He would sit in the local cafe for hours, sipping coffee and watching the townsfolk go about their daily business. He never spoke to anyone, but he would stare at them with his dark, piercing eyes. As the weeks went by, strange things began to happen in the town. People would go missing, their bodies found mutilated in the woods. The townsfolk became increasingly paranoid, and they started to suspect that the stranger was somehow involved in the disappearances. One night, a group of villagers gathered outside the stranger's house. They were armed with pitchforks and torches, and they were determined to confront him. As they approached the house, they could hear strange noises coming from within. It sounded like someone was chanting in a language they didn't understand. Suddenly, the door of the house flew open, and the stranger stepped out. He was no longer the gaunt, thin man they had seen before. Instead, he was now a towering figure with horns and a snarling mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. The villagers screamed in terror and tried to run, but the creature was too fast. It chased them through the woods, picking them off one by one. By the time the sun rose, the town was silent and empty, save for the twisted, mutilated bodies of its former inhabitants. From that day on, no one ever entered the town again. The winding road leading to the town was abandoned, and the woods around it grew thicker and darker. The legend of the creature that had destroyed the town was passed down through the generations, a cautionary tale of what happens when you let a stranger into your midst.